This is Chris from High Spirits, and you are watching Stormbringer, the Austrian heavy zine.
Chris, I think it's the first time in Austria for High Spirits. Is it the first time for you as well?
I was in Austria as a kid on like a family vacation, and I remember visiting Innsbruck and Salzburg, I think. I don't know whether we were in Vienna or not. I'd have to ask my parents. You know, I was probably 10 or 11 years old, so I have, you know, pieces of memories from that trip, but not too many.
Nice pieces, I hope.
Very nice, yes, yeah, but nothing very specific. And obviously, this will be a very different experience than it was.
I guess so.
Yeah, the different objectives.
Adult experience.
Yes.
Have you been here with any of your bands? I didn't remember anything.
No, this will be my first time playing for sure. Yeah.
When you Google your name, there will pop up like millions of Chris Blacks, because it's not even your real name. Right. Why did you choose the name Black those days?
It began kind of as a joke when I was a writer for the magazine Metal Maniacs. There was one reader who would very frequently write in to say what he didn't like about somebody's record review, or you know, this could be better, this was good, this could be better, blah blah blah. And one time he kind of sarcastically referred to me as the professor. Okay. And I thought that was actually pretty cool, and kind of adopted that. And then the Black part, honestly, I'm not sure. I went through a big Wasp kick in the late 90s. I may have picked it up from there, but also
Blackie Lawless.
Yeah, right.
You started learning the drums as a child, I guess. When did you decide to learn some other instruments? Because you play all the instruments, guitar, bass, and some keyboards.
Well, my first instrument was actually the piano.
Okay.
I started with piano lessons when I was, I think, 4 years old. But at the same time, I was, like a lot of young kids, I was very much into banging on buckets and
me too.
Yeah, like exactly, like every kid. But I think for me, it became more serious. You know, as serious as a little kid can be about something. I think it became a bigger interest pretty early on. But I stuck with the piano and continued with that for, I think, 11 or 12 years, long time. In the meantime, by the time I was maybe 10, 11 years old, my parents finally caved in and said, okay, we got you the drums. And actually I had a toy drum set when I was much younger, but you know, kind of kicked that apart pretty quickly. And when I was about 10, I got the real drum set, and that's when it became...
That's why they wanted the cutlery back and all the pots and all.
Yeah. It's much more useful as a bucket than as a drum. But by the time, as I said, when they finally relented and bought me a real drum set, I was about 10, and it became quite an obsession as I became a teenager. Excuse me. When I was too old for like the summer camps and, you know, sports things, like, you know, the normal kid stuff, but too young to have a summer job. Drums. There was one summer I probably played drums 6 or 7 hours a day. I was always at the same time, probably because of my piano background, interested in the more melodic instruments. You know, I was interested in guitar. I had a guitar as a teenager, but I was never very serious about it. And it was much later, when I moved to Chicago and formed the band Superchrist, that I decided, okay, since I'm going to be the composer of the songs and writing the lyrics, I should be the front man of the band. It doesn't make sense for me to be the drummer and giving everybody else their music to play. So at that time, I tried once again with the guitar, found it way too difficult, and so settled for the bass, and you know, eventually being the singer also. So it was a gradual progression from, you know, piano to drums, and you know, there was some saxophone lessons in there at some point too. You know, I've always been
really everything.
Yeah.
Harp, triangle.
No, never that. Well, triangle, yeah. I can play a good rhythm triangle, not lead. Yeah, just rhythm. Of course, yeah. So yeah,
the easy one.
Right.
Which instrument do you like the most when you play on stage?
On stage, I still get quite a kick from the drums. The drums are a very physical instrument. You know, you're sweating almost before you even pick up the sticks. I've gotten quite comfortable singing, which I never really expected. You know, always being an instrumentalist before that, but you know, with this band kind of progressing very quickly, it's been almost like a trial by fire to kind of find my legs as a front man and find my voice as a singer. In the studio, my favorite instrument is actually the bass, because that is the instrument that I play the most cleanly. I make the fewest mistakes, so the recording process is much more enjoyable when I'm holding the bass. If I'm holding the guitar, it's over and over and over and over again. But with the bass, I can kind of get into a groove much more easily. So in the studio, I would say the bass, and live nowadays, I guess it's the voice.
But with the 2 records you made with the High Spirits, you are the only musician.
True.
But you play live with the whole band.
Right.
Why don't you put the band in the studio to make the record? Is this too difficult to explain the soul to them, or what?
That's part of the reason. It would be, these guys are living kind of, we don't live in the same city. Only myself and the drummer actually live in Chicago. The rest of the guys are very spread out. The biggest reason, I think, is that the formula we have is working. And I don't want to try to fix anything that isn't broken. I mean, High Spirits started as basically just a fun demo project with me using my PC to kind of make these, experimental isn't the right word, although I was experimenting kind of with this musical direction. And it worked. That I was self-sufficient. I was able to develop these songs and these demo recordings by myself, and I haven't felt the need to kind of go beyond that. Another reason is that I change my mind a lot in the studio, and certainly during the songwriting process, I change my mind a lot. Well, let's make this part a bit longer. Let's make this part a bit shorter. Let's throw this part away completely, and maybe that doesn't work. Well, okay, let's put it back in.
It's easier when you're alone with yourself.
And the whole conversation is here instead of trying to communicate. Every musician speaks a slightly different language. Even musicians who are very accustomed to working together, there's that kind of vocabulary in the middle, in between them. And in this way, it's much more efficient for me to just have it all in my head. And you know, the guys don't have a problem with that either, because it spares us a lot of the situations that cause other bands a lot of stress. When we're together, it's to rehearse and get on the plane and go to Europe. You know, when we're together, it's always something great. There's no arguing. There's no, you know, debating about, you know, this.
That's because you don't hang around that lot.
Right, and we're very good friends. Yeah. But when all of us are together, it's because we're about to go on tour, or because we are on tour, and you know, usually we're having a great time, and there's no stress at all.
I hope you have a good time here in Europe.
It's been great. This tour has been really off the charts. Yeah, well beyond expectations.
That's cool. Yeah, we have to come here more often. With Stormbringer and Pharaoh and all stuff.
We're doing as much as we can. Five people is a lot, especially, you know, we're all in our 30s now. You know, if it was 10 years ago, we would probably have a lot more freedom to do these types of tours, but we wouldn't have the experience or the skills to organize it. It's a catch-22. You know, it's like.
You drink more in your 20s or something like that.
Yeah. A lot more.
But you are actually from Pennsylvania.
Well, I was born in New Jersey, which is right next to Pennsylvania. It's kind of between Pennsylvania and New York City. I was there till I was 10, and then in Pennsylvania till I was 22. Yeah.
But why did you move to Chicago and not to New York? Because it was in Europe?
Because the girl was moving to Chicago. And I wanted to get the girl. She had ideas for we went to college together, and she had some job leads in Chicago.
Okay.
I had no better ideas.
It's still your girl.
Yeah. Well, she's my ex-girlfriend now, but she's my wife.
Okay. So it was definitely worth it to go to Chicago.
It was the right choice, yeah.
And when you came there, you started, I think you started working in some record shop, which is no more.
Unfortunately, yes. They closed, I think.
Metal Haven or something like
that? Exactly. They closed in, I think, 2010, or maybe it was 2011. But for the first 2 years that I lived in Chicago, I worked there full time. It was kind of funny to go from, collected my college degree and then work a minimum wage job at a record store, but it's what I wanted to do, and it was the timing could not have been better, to be in a brand new city and not really know anybody and be looking for kind of a social life, but also some musical collaborators also, and here I am sitting behind a counter at a place where every single person who walks through that door
everybody comes to you.
Is into heavy metal. Yes, and exactly. Yeah. And we drink and get to know each other and get to know people's tastes, and oh, this just came in, you're gonna love this, and and at the time I'm 22 or 23 years old, so still a lot of enthusiasm.
A different kind of networking, actually, than today.
Exactly, because the internet hadn't really, it was there, but it hadn't really taken hold, so there was a lot of...
There was no Facebook or
something like that. Right, so people were very dependent on that kind of word-of-mouth, face-to-face promotion for things, and, in the end, that's all that really works anyway, even today, so...
But hearing people got no weekends from a man with playing in 6 bands at the same time, do you have weekends? I think you plan your work very like a normal job. Like
I have had to. Yeah, it helps me to do that. It helps me get the most out of my time and make sure I'm being productive and doing something. So yeah, for the last year and a half, I get up and have breakfast with my family, then usually go to I kind of keep an office and warehouse in my basement with just all the merchandise, mailing supplies, and the laptops. So after breakfast I'll do a little bit of inbox, and then hopefully it's just a little bit of inbox. If I'm booking a tour, it can be a lot of inbox for any day. And then I make my way up to the upstairs where I keep my instruments, and I have a kind of a demo recording set up. And on a good day I'm upstairs more than I'm downstairs, but it depends on how many merchandise orders are coming in. I maintain a Bandcamp page for all the bands, and we're selling CDs and vinyl and T-shirts, of course downloads too, which are nice because there's nothing to mail. But people, especially fans of this kind of music, they want to have their CDs, they want to have their vinyl and their shirts. So nearly every day I'm spending some time, making packages and then walking over to the post office a little later.
But you don't have to move very far from your home or from your family. So
exactly.
Still there
And then about 5:30 in the evening, I call it quits and have dinner with the family and relax, and maybe if it's a really heavy workload for a week, I'll stay up late to work. But again, if I'm focused and somewhat disciplined about how I spend the day, it's usually not necessary.
But it sounds weird because a guy you play at least in 3 bands at the same time, so you expect to have them working 24/7 the whole time, and there's and lots of output, and
but again, we were talking about High Spirits, how the band's only together when we're touring, so I don't have to rehearse with the band. We don't have any real regular business that's ongoing, so there's some flexibility to it. The work is not related specifically to the bands isn't constant, other than keeping up with the mail order. So
you don't like you like more the print issues of the magazines, I read somewhere. You're very paper magazine man. And what about the internet magazines? Are they like better or worse than the paper magazines? Because you wrote yourself for I think Metal Maniac for sometimes?
Obviously, the advantage of the online magazines is that you reach the whole world. I mean, that's the beauty of the internet. I can write a song today, and somebody in Cambodia can be listening to it tomorrow. I mean, that was just physically impossible before that technology was.
You could have sent a tape or something,
right? And then wait 6 months for it to show up, and then 6 months to get a letter back. It's the same concept, but the mechanism for the transaction is just infinitely more efficient. You know, it really depends who's driving the ship. I think what the quality of a media resource is, you know, whether it's print or online, or, you know, the town crier, you know, running up and down the streets saying, broadcasting the news. I mean, it's the same. It's the same. You know, again, the same transaction. It's just really the technology that's different. I do tend to give priority to the print magazines, but you know, the volume of requests that I get is manageable.
Yeah.
There's only, you know, if like when You Are Here was about to come out, I was doing a couple interviews every day, but I knew to expect that, so it was not, you know, not a big deal.
Yeah. But you know, today you are here on a birthday party for a print magazine, which is actually 20 years old.
Yes, yes,
you know that.
That's very cool.
Slam magazine.
Yeah, and that's impressive. That's impressive. You know, a lot of magazines have come and gone during that time. Yeah. Metal Maniacs was, let's see, it was gone in 2009. It may have been 22 or 23 years old at that time. I'm not positive. So that is, especially in a competitive media market like here with the, you know, because the German magazines are very
German-speaking market.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, Thomas of Slam was telling me that, you know, you do have Rock Hard here, you do have Metal Hammer here. Yeah. It's, you know, it's kind of one big territory in terms of the distribution of those magazines. So yeah, for an independent magazine like that,
Austrian independent magazine,
yeah, to survive in today's conditions is definitely worth having a party.
Yeah. Slam magazine. Yeah. Chris, I have lots of questions here. We have not so many time at hand. I would like to talk to you forever, the whole night here, because it's very nice sitting here in somebody's kitchen, actually, above the club. One last question. There will be both a new Pharaoh and a new High Spirits album this year. Is this right?
High Spirits for sure. I plan to start recording it really as soon as I'm back home from the tour. I have I know I have 8 songs complete. I have 2 or 3 songs that are in process. So when I get back, I'll probably take 3 or 4 days to rest, and maybe 1 week to kind of make the last changes to the song. And I hope by the end of April to be finished recording. So that will come out. I think September is the plan. With High Roller.
That's cool.
And Pharaoh, we'll see. Pharaoh kind of works in little bursts. The guitar player Matt and I got together almost 2 years ago now and wrote 4 or 5 songs, I guess. More recently, I've gone back and started putting some lyrics and some vocal patterns to them. So Pharaoh takes time. The band members are very spread out. That's another band we don't really rehearse together. It's always just been kind of a session project. So we'll see. I hope we at least can do most of the recording this year, but I think the release would be 2016, realistically. Yeah.
Anyway, as long as it is released this or next year.
Yeah.
We can wait a while.
That's the plan.
Because meanwhile there's some actor stuff, or there's some Stormbringer stuff as well.
Yeah, Stormbringer actually recorded an album at the end of last year.
Yeah.
No, since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one I don't know.
Night of the Hammer was completed in July. I took August off, and
there was another one.
In September I started.
Another one.
And now there's another one.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Aren't you afraid the source is sometimes there is an end to it? You mind saying,
yes.
Oh, no, sorry,
I'm sure there is, and I hope I'll recognize that when I get there.
Yeah.
Or that somebody close to me who I trust will say, time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've hit that point yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going full speed ahead until I do.
Yeah. I hope we will have you here more often in Austria.
I would love it.
Any of your 1 million bands.
I would love it. We've had a great night already, and we haven't even played.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're having a good time.
And yeah, I say thank you for your precious time.
Thank you very much.